All right, welcome to review chapter 5, test part 2. Not a lot of sections on this test, 5.5, 5.6, 5.9, and this video will review that information, get you ready for the test. This guy is here to remind you, don't be this guy, right? So you're taking the first step, watching this video, you'll be ready. You understand the stuff on this video. All right, for all of these, all right, so throughout this video, I would really encourage you to pause and check and pause and try them before watching the answers, right? It's going to be way more valuable. That's what the test will look like. These are literally really similar to the test questions. So give this one a shot before watching the answer. What this question is meant to test is just this knowledge. So I pasted this from the other lesson here where if you have rational ones, they don't always come in pairs. Irrational and imaginary always come in these plus minus pairs as is seen here. So back on this one is if you have any irrational or imaginary, they have to have a pair. So this is positive root 7. So we know that negative root 7 must be there to make a plus minus pair. 6 plus 2i means there must be 6 minus 2i because imaginary ones always come in pairs. So we have the positive ones, we just list the negative. For 5, that's the rational type. And there's no guarantee that it has a matching pair. So for this one, we don't list any additional ones. So they're trying to trick you. Don't list -5 there. It might be another answer, but we don't know that for sure. So don't list it there. All right, transformation questions, just a couple multiple choice ones. Again, pause the video and give it your best shot. Okay, so I always kind of do this setup like this, where I have the cube, and then just fill in the other stuff. So if it's compression, you're going to multiply. Compression or stretch, you multiply out front. 2 to the left would be, let's see, instead of -2 here, you do a +2, and that'll make you go left 2. And then to reflect across the x-axis, you have to take the whole parenthesis part times a negative. So this would actually be a -1/6. 1/6 times -1. So that looks like, I think B looks like the right answer there. All right, one more like that. Okay, so we're going to fill in the parts. And let's see, we're going to stretch by 2. I'm going to multiply by 2. Write 7. So instead of +7, I'm going to go -7. And then to go down 2, I do a -2 on the end. Okay, that's good. All right, rational root theorem. This one you don't actually have to find the roots. So some question you have to find all the solutions or roots. Those things mean the same thing, solutions, roots. But this one you just have to list what's possible. So it's saying if this thing had rational answers, right, these fraction type, a over b type, what ones are possible? All right, so again, pause the video and see if you can make the list of what is possible. What the rational root theorem says is if they are rational, a over b, then the top number has to be a factor of the constant, which is 8 in this case, and the bottom number has to be a factor of the leading coefficient, which is the 3. Right, so if we list out our factors of 8, that's 1 and 8, 2 and 4. For 3, there's just 1 and 3. And now we got to pair them all up. So this denominator of 1 pairs with all the numerators. So I'm going to list all those out. So 1 over 1, 8 over 1, 2 over 1, 4 over 1. Then take the 3 and pair it with all the numerators. So 1 over 3, 8 over 3, 2 over 3, and 4 over 3. Okay, and so if they're rational, it has to be on this list, and then the only other change is you have to do plus or minus. So there's a comprehensive list of all the possible rational solutions to that polynomial. Again, we don't actually have to find them here, we just have to list what is possible. All right, so this is the next step where you actually have to solve. And these ones, you don't really have to make the list. Again, the list is really just to help you figure out where you'd have to look on your calculator. So if you really got stuck, you could make the list. Like this one, we know that the farthest out we could be would be -8 and +8, right? But otherwise, when you find them, you really don't have to do that unless you find yourself getting stuck or something. Pause the video, see if you can find, this one's going to have 3 because of the exponent. So see how many of the 3 solutions you can find. Okay, so this is the main guts of this, is to be able to solve. All right, and so the way it works is we're going to find any solutions on the calculator that we can. We're going to use synthetic division next to divide out your solutions with the answer in the window. And then you're going to solve what remains. Okay, and these are back obviously in the lesson notes for this chapter. Should be, this is 5.6 if you want to look back at your notes. All right, so at any rate, before I do any of that, I'm going to get 0 on one side. So I'm going to add x cubed to both sides and minus 4x squared. Generally, you want the cube part, or the highest exponent part, positive. So we'd have minus x and plus 22. So basically, I'm moving these ones over by adding x cubed and minusing 4x squared. All right, now I'm going to graph on my calculator and see how many of the 3 answers I can get on my calculator. So I'm just going to go to y equals screen here, and I'm going to do x little hat cubed, hit the over arrow, gotta go back here, minus 4x squared, and I'm actually going to pause this. Okay, so here's your equation all typed in. Now I just hit graph, and I want to look, and it looks like you can actually see it start dipping down there, that cube shape. And so we are crossing just once here at -2. So it means we have one rational answer at -2, and then must be 2 imaginary answers. All right, so I'm going to record my one answer of -2, right? And then I'm going to simplify my polynomial by dividing that out with synthetic division. All right, and so into the window goes the answer, and then we put our coefficients. So 1, -4, -1, and then 22. Right, and I should get remainder 0 if this goes right. So we're going to drop this 1, multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window, and then add. All right, and so we have x squared minus 6x plus 11. Okay, and we got to solve that. Right, so it's not going to factor, and I know that because if it did factor, the answers would show up on our calculator. Right, they would be rational answers, and you'd see them on the calculator. So knowing that it's not going to factor, I'm going to go right to my quad formula and do the quad formula to get your answers. So I'll try and fit it on the screen here. The formula you'll have on the test, so you won't need to memorize it or anything. I'm going to start with the b squared minus 4ac part again. So we have, let's see, a is 1, b -6, and c 11. So all right, so here we go. So I'm going to do b squared -6 squared minus 4 times a times c. So that would be 36 minus 4. Sorry for the poor handwriting there, but that's going to be 32. So we're going to have square root 32. And if we do simplest radical form, that would be a root 16 times root 2. So that would be 4 root 2. All right, so our other 2 answers from quad formula here are the opposite of b, 6, plus or minus 4 root 2 all over 2. Okay, and that actually, the 2 divides these parts evenly in the top. So when I write my answers up here, I'm going to divide. So it's going to be 3 plus or minus 2 root 2. Right, and so that is my 4 answers to that. We have 1 rational and then looks like 2 irrational solutions. All right, let's see. I got an x to the 4th, x to the 5th. Let's try the x to the 4th quick. They'll be both on the test. There'll be an x to the 4th and an x to the 5th that you'll have to solve. So again, You don't have to list what's possible here, just find all of them. So when you're done, you should have 4 answers. All right, so pause the video and find as many as you can. Okay, so back with you, we're going to start with what we can find on the calculator. So I'm going to type all that into my y equals screen. So there it is, typed in. I think I got it right. And I'm going to hit graph. Okay, and it looks like I see 2 answers here, 2 rational, -2 and 2. All right, so I'm going to go back, and on my list, I'm halfway there, sort of. Guess I have half the answers, not half the work, but I have half the answers. Okay, so to find the other ones, I'm going to synthetic divide twice with those answers in the window. And the order again doesn't matter, so I'm just going to do the 2 first. List my coefficients. Okay, and hopefully you get pretty good at this synthetic division. And basically you should get remainder 0. So I'm going to, drop the 1, multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window, and then I get remainder 0. And if I didn't get remainder 0 here, I would go back and check that I entered it correctly in my calculator, and also that, check my work on synthetic division, right? And if I'm really on the struggle bus, you could retry it, just erase it all, or start all over and put -2 first and see if you can figure it out that way. All right, at any rate, we got remainder 0, so things are going well. I'm going to cross it off, put the next answer in there, so I'm going to put the -2 in now. Drop the 1, multiply with the window, add. Sorry, I'm going kind of fast because I feel like we've done this a bunch. Multiply with the window, add, multiply with the window. Okay, and we get 0. So cross that off. So we are left with x squared plus 3x plus 5. Okay, and again, our only route here is do quad formula, right? It seems like you want to maybe factor this or something, but again, if it was solvable by factoring, it would have shown up when we graphed, right? And we found everything we could on the calculator, so we left to using either algebra steps or quad formula. And so here we'd have to do quad formula, and I'm just going to pause and put the work up if you want to check your work on this. All right, so there's my work for the quad formula. So I got imaginary answers here, and that pair of imaginary goes with these 2 rational, so I have 4 total answers to that polynomial. All right, for this last one, there's an x to the 5th on the test, and so I'm actually going to throw the graph up here, so I feel like you can do that step and see if you can get the other steps from there. All right, so there's your graph, and see if you can go from there. Pause the video, give it a shot. All right, so what's goofy on this one is you got to do synthetic division a bunch of times. So pick any one of our answers. That's 3 of our answers right there. -3, 3, and 4. And I usually put a positive 1 in there first just because it's a little easier. So I'm going to do 3, then list my coefficients. And again, I'm going to speed through this part because I'm running out of time on my video here. And also, I think you know how to do synthetic division pretty well. Drop the 1, multiply with the window, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, -1, multiply, -3, add -12, multiply -36. And that's good because we got a remainder 0, so cross it off and go again. All right, so draw another window, put our next answer in. Again, the order doesn't really matter, so I'm going to do the other positive 1 here, 4. So drop the 1, multiply with the window, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Okay, and again, we got remainder 0, so that's a good sign. Cross it off, go one more time. Mr. Westphal is running out of time. Let's see if we can do it here. Let's see, -3 in the window. Drop the 1, multiply, take -3, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay, and so we're left with constant x and x squared. So we have x squared plus 1, and we got to solve that, which luckily we don't need to do quad formula. We can just do algebra steps, -1, take the square root of both sides, so we get plus or minus I as our last 2 answers. So our full answers are these 3 plus or minus I, 5 answers. It's about as hard as it gets on the test. All right, thanks for watching.